All right. Where is that stage, by the way, that we are in back of? Is there an actual stage somewhere?
Yes, it's
maybe
a fabulous.
It's a Bill's house. I don't see anything
it's a fabulous stage. We've taken the money from our members and built an absolutely astonishing structure. Built it for next to nothing. It's just out of frame over there. Otherwise, I'd show it to you.
Now, is it to the left of nothing or to the right of nothing?
Structure you've ever seen.
See, now, I only say this to throw the word stage out there because I know if I say it often enough, some fool is going to start a Kickstarter campaign to get Bill Whittle, Steve Green, and Scott Ott on the road doing this production live somewhere in some fabulous ancient theater somewhere.
That'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
Well, this is our pre-production meeting that we do weekly. For those of you who are new in your membership at BillWhittle.com, welcome, and thanks for coming. Bring your friends. And we are planning the episodes that we're going to shoot this week. We do a handful of episodes, I think literally a handful each week, and this is one of them that is reserved for members only. And then as we go through the round-robin rotation each week, it turns out that it's actually Bill Whittle's turn to host the members-only episode, which means he has 2 episodes.
What?
That's what I do every third week.
There is nothing like a good spit take. But anyway,
Okay.
so Bill, and of course that means that since Bill gets to go first, he's the one who's most likely to steal topics from Steve and I. So Bill, go ahead, steal away.
I bet I don't. Well, it looks like we have a new sponsor for firewall, so I'll probably be doing a firewall on Syria today, I hope. So I wanted to stay away from that. So I thought the main story would be China's deploying 150,000 troops to the North Korean border. People hear that and think, oh, God, here it comes. But I suspect they're putting 150,000 troops on the North Korean border because they suspect that regime may not last a whole lot longer.
They're just there to process refugees or what?
Well,
here's what's interesting. Or to halt them at the Yalu River.
Yeah, it's hard not to think of the Korean War, with the Chinese becoming involved. And when I first read it, I thought, oh, God, here we go. Reinforcements coming up, But I don't think that's it. I think I cannot see any reason, none at all, why China would risk war with the United States in order to save its trade relations with North Korea. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I suspect that that's a sign that that they suspect that this awful, awful regime is going to be going away sometime soon.
Yeah,
we can only hope. I want to get into this tomorrow, but just to let you know, I've been writing in-depth stuff about North Korea for, I don't know, a dozen, maybe 13 years now. And this looks an awful lot like something that I said would be the least bad feasible scenario, and it could be coming up right now.
And because both Bill Whittle and Stephen Green have deep knowledge of this topic, this is going to be another one of those episodes where Scott Ott just sort of smiles and goes,
Smile and nod.
Oh, yo, 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 yo.
Just say Pyongyang a lot. It makes you sound smart.
Well, I can't help but think that since the 1950s, Bill, that that the folks in China have gotten used to a little bit of that sweet savor of capitalism and are not willing to go back to that sort of, hey, what's going on behind that Great Wall kind of atmosphere that they had. So like you, I can't imagine that they want to get into a shooting war with the United States.
Well, one of the things I'm going to be, I want to save a lot of this for the firewall with Syria, but I will connect it to North Korea as well and Iran. What we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to re-educate the rest of the world that we're not the wimps and losers and weaklings that Barack Obama's convinced them that we are for the last 8 years.
You've heard it here first, folks. He's calling for re-education camps. Go ahead.
I am. If I had that power, there wouldn't be anybody in Berkeley, I can tell you that.
Enjoy your gruel, comrades.
No, but seriously, we've got now a bunch of situations where the laxity and the cowardice of the Obama administration have emboldened North Korea, they've emboldened Iran, they've emboldened Syria, and they've emboldened Russia. I sure as hell hope emboldened is a word.
It is now.
Okay. What is it?
Copyright Bill Whittle, 2017.com.
The biggest dreams and big in the smallest heart or something. The Simpsons, Jebediah Simpson, it embiggens. Anyway, the biggest, a big heart embiggens the biggest man. Something like that. In any way.
Romulan words, Bill.
In any way, here's the thing. this is now, it's unfortunate that we have them all simultaneously, but I'm not surprised. Yeah. These four regimes that we've been not just nice to, that we've basically tuck tail and run from, now all of them are in motion, and they're all going to have to realize that this is not the United States of 8 years ago. This is the United States that spends $650 billion a year on defense, and is apparently prepared to expend a little bit of that money. So I'm just going to concentrate on the North Korean thing, and maybe we'll just play out a couple of options on how that could go down.
You wonder if this is possibly Joe Biden's prophecy coming true, but just during the wrong administration. Remember, before Barack Obama was sworn in, he's like, this president's going to be tested. And his first 6 months, he's going to be tested. I don't know what it is, but it's going to be a test.
And he was found wanting. Wasn't it Joe Biden who said the Kurds should be independent of North Korea?
Well, they are. Another great achievement of the Barack Obama administration. So that's the main one.
Okay.
And then for members, and I'm going to set it up this way. You know, they say sugar is more addictive than cocaine or heroin, but the only thing to me that's more addictive than sugar is Hillary Clinton coming back stories. I can't let them go. I can't let them go. I have to do it. I feel like a guy who's just had his entire house exterminated from roaches, and the second he sees one, just like a little trail of one in the corner, it's like, I'm going to tear the entire foundation down until we stomp these things out. Yeah, she's saying the election, you know, she's doing a new book where she talks about Comey, and she talks about fake news, but mostly she talks about misogyny, because as we know, America just wasn't ready for a woman president.
Does she have to pay an hourly rate for her misogynist who comes in and does those misogynies?
It's $75 an hour.
Yeah, she uses the hot stone misogyny method, and it's really very relaxing.
I think we understand that for Hillary Clinton, there's never been a happy ending.
Oh, no, and I just think it bears. I just think it bears. She says she's not going away, and I suspect she's not. It's like toxic mold. You know, what do you do? Nothing.
You burn the structure down.
You burn. Yeah, that's right. You have to kill it with fire.
But also keep in mind, there are some people who think they have not gone away who have actually gone away.
And that would be the nice takeaway.
Yeah, and I think she may be here, but she's not present. She's around, but not relevant. You know what I'm saying? It's like
the recruit at basic training asking the sergeant, "Well, how can I be absent if I don't leave?"
So anyway, that'll be my members.
So that's your members. We can reserve that. That's the special label vintage that we have for them.
I haven't had any good Hillary hate in, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks now. I'm looking forward to this one, Bill. Thank you.
Jones, man. I'm starting to Jones. I'm sorry.
Burn.
All right. By the way, I've started calling her Madam Not President, and I do a little dance every time.
Absolutely. Got a very nice ring to it.
Get down tonight. All right, Stephen Green, your turn. What's up?
Oh, crap. I need a topic. No, I want to talk about the story that's been percolating, I guess, since last week when Steve Bannon got kicked off the National Security Council. This turmoil at the White House. They're saying Reince Priebus might be gone, and that they're looking at bringing in maybe even Paul Ryan out of the House to run Trump's White House. And it's just been, chaos and personnel changes, and Jared Kushner is getting people fired and all the rest. And the thing is, anybody who watched the Trump campaign, which is all three of us, and of course everybody who watches this show, could have said, well, you know what, it was gonna be chaotic. And I'm having fun watching this thing shake out. We can talk a little insider baseball and all that good stuff. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it sounds great.
And I think that's actually a good segue into my topic. And so as usual, I'll give you the topic that I'm not going to do first. This is Governor Scott Walker has publicly said that he's working on legislation, or is at some stage of pushing legislation that basically says local school districts can decide how long a kid needs to be in school. There's not going to be any statewide mandate for how many hours it requires for you to be considered a legitimate fifth grader, for example. Because right now, like literally at the kindergarten, elementary, and high school level, in order to get a full school year, you have to show up and sit in a seat for the number of hours that the state mandates. And basically, Walker is saying, let the local school districts decide that. There's no reason we need to set a mandate. We'll evaluate the district's performance on the standardized tests. That's all we need to know. We need to know what you're producing, not how long it took you to do it.
I could have gone from K through 12 in 3 years if that law had been around.
That's right.
And so could we all.
Just give me the tests and get me out of here. I would like to address this topic by speaking directly to Governor Walker. Governor, when you're done in Wisconsin, will you come please be our governor here in Colorado, please?
Yes, and then California when you're done.
Yeah, well, actually,
they'll shoot him at the border if he tries doing that, Bill.
The Regents exam in Colorado consists of being able to pronounce out loud the word Hickenlooper. That's all you. That's all you need to be able to do.
Yeah, they tried taking off for spelling, but nobody graduated that year.
That's right. So that's not the topic I'm going to do as much as I would love to do that.
For the love of God.
Awesome. What I am going to do is I had the great privilege today of watching 2 interviews. Actually, 3 interviews. One was kind of a speech-like interview because it was before a large crowd. But I saw Secretary of State Rex Tillerson being interviewed. I saw, what's his name? Oh, H.R. McMaster. I've heard of him. The National Security Advisor, H.R. McMaster.
He works into my story too, Scott.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So he was being interviewed, and one of them was by Jake Tapper, and the other one was by George Stephanopoulos. But it really doesn't matter which one of those. They're interchangeable. You could switch them back and forth.
Don't
I
put
know.
Tapper
I
in
know.
with
You're going to stand up for
Stephanopoulos.
Tapper because he's like the only good journalist. But
Yeah.
So anyway, they were being interviewed, and then UN Ambassador Nikki Haley actually sat down with Dan Senor, I don't know how you pronounce it, who wrote a great book I read called Startup Nation about Israel. And she sat down in front of a stadium, it seemed, full of the American Israeli Political Action Committee people, and was received like a rock star. I watched 17 minutes of this thing, and I swear I wept 6 times during the course of the thing at the reaction of people. And at the end of it, Nikki Haley says, "Look, I know I've appreciated the warm support you all have given me, in this great welcome and everything like that. But I want to let you know, all I've done is told the truth." And I just thought, that's it.
Powerful
That's
stuff.
It.
As when she was governor, she got a little too caught up sometimes in the day-to-day muck that comes with being a governor. But man, as soon as Trump gave her that platform at the UN, she has caught fire again.
So what I've seen in all 3 of these, Nikki Haley, H.R. McMaster, and Rex Tillerson, so enthused me for this sort of towering competence and this moral clarity.
Those are great expressions. Towering competence and moral clarity.
I mean, Rex Tillerson is on his way to Moscow. As we record this on Monday, he'll be there when we're recording our shows on Tuesday. He's going to Moscow to meet with Sergei Lavrov, the foreign minister, and possibly with Vladimir Putin. And he is making statements before he goes that basically said, Russia needs to get its act together and do the right thing in Syria. And then H.R. McMaster's on TV saying basically Russia needs to stop supporting this murderous regime that is gassing their own people. And then Nikki Haley standing up and saying, we will no more stand for the day at the United Nations when people could criticize the only democracy in the Middle East and our great ally. And so I just came out of that for all my problems. Every time it seems Donald Trump opens his mouth, every time one of his appointees opens their mouths, I go, huzzah, and I happen to have seen all these on the day that Neil Gorsuch was sworn in as the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court to take the Scalia seat, at which he gave a great tribute to Justice Scalia. So all of that, if nothing else, I just kind of want to celebrate this idea of these people who, none of whom seem to be sort of walking on eggshells, afraid they're going to cross the president. And there's some dispute about, did Nikki Haley say something different than Rex Tillerson said? And is H.R. McMaster saying the same thing that Tillerson or Haley are saying, or whatever? But they don't seem concerned about that. Not only that, H.R. McMaster, when he took Steve Bannon off the Security Council high-level meeting that they have, put Nikki Haley on it.
Yeah.
You gotta love it. You gotta love that, man. And I couldn't agree more. And I was going to say on Steve's thing about chaos, if you're firing people because they're not doing a good job. That's not. I don't consider that to be a negative. And Scotty, the thing. I'm not trying to twist your arm here, but you do have to admit that these towering competence and moral clarity people are being appointed by Donald Trump.
It reflects very well on him,
who may not have either of those 2 qualities. But then again, you have to ask yourself, he is competent enough to be picking the best people in the country, and he is moral enough to be making the selection based on that. I'll just say this: give
me another list of those moral people, okay?
Right. They'll be the best.
We can't have that in government.
They'll be huge.
Huge. But with all that said, I saw some of the dead from that Syrian gas attack, and then I saw the missiles going off, and it's the first time I've been proud of my country in 8 years, in terms of its foreign policy.
Okay, Michelle. Oh.
No, I mean, it's 8 years, not forever. And in terms of its foreign policy, I've always loved the country. Yeah. But this time it was like, okay, so people have been gassed, and now we're going to do something about it. There's a guy who was interviewed who basically said if they had done this when they first gassed us, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago when Obama was
2013.
there? 2013. Yeah. Then we wouldn't have this problem.
1,400 people died in that gas attack. The Obama administration said that they would retaliate. And then when they had a hard time raising support for that in Congress, Vladimir Putin rode to the rescue and said, hey, why don't I broker a deal? We'll remove all the chemical weapons out of Syria. Barack Obama said, that sounds swell. And so they got all of the chemical weapons out of Syria, which, of course, if you're in the Obama administration now, you use the term, we got all of the known chemical weapons out of Syria.
Yeah, she got, Susan Rice got 4 Pinocchios for her claim that those weapons have been removed. The only other thing I'd like to say on this before tomorrow, as a paraphrase of JFK, right now we have the best foreign policy team in place since the night that George Shultz dined alone.
All right,
the Thomas Jefferson reference. Yeah, nice. All righty, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we have a lot to look forward to, not only for this country, but for this little trio of happy warriors. And we are glad that you continue to lift us up with your subscriptions at BillWhittle.com, as well as with your prayers and encouragement. And we are grateful for the support we've received from you. We are looking forward to doing, I think we're closing in on like the first full year that we've done this. So we're looking forward to doing another year, or perhaps more, should I live so long, of this. And we can only do that thanks to you for your efforts at, liking on social media, sharing on social media, recruiting your friends to become subscribers. You're the ones who make this happen. And so just on behalf of Bill Whittle and Stephen Green, I'm Scott Ott, thanking you for your membership at BillWhittle.com.